Hello everyone, and this is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling on May 24th, 2016. I'm going to go off and say right off the bat that there was some good stuff here on this Impact. Maybe not necessarily match-wise, but for the most part, there were, stories were told quite well for most of the evening, and it felt like most of the show was very, very well done overall. So right off the bat, they started out with Matt Hardy. And Matt Hardy coming out in his new creepier style character. And I made note here, like the way he looks in this is only in semi-joking fashion, but like legitimately, he almost looks like somebody out of the Addams Family right now. Like with the way his hair is, the blonde streak in there, and just like his overall facial expression and everything feels that way. But the promo he cut tonight was an excellent promo. I absolutely love this promo. He talked about his bit with EC3, how he only saw EC3 as a warm up to his match with Jeff Hardy, and it was that they make the announcement there is like, oh, it's Full Metal Mayhem and everything in there. He's always talking in a much more somber and like projecting creepier voice. In a much slower voice. He portrayed the character quite well here, and also going as far as he did with the aspect of saying, not calling him Jeff, not calling him Hardy, he called him Brother Nero the entire time. And that was just a nice little touch that I liked that they put in there. You had Tyrus and Rockstar Spud come out during this portion, and trying to talk Matt Hardy down, they're throughout the night as well. You had Rockstar Spud, well, mostly Rockstar Spud and Rebby, and they were trying to they were trying to talk Matt Hardy out of all this and how everything was going, but just Matt staying completely is like, I want this match, Full Metal Mayhem for Slammiversary. But he makes a change because his only option in his mind at this point is that he has to get rid of Jeff in order to be himself again. So like I said, you had most of the time Rebby and Rockstar's we're trying to bring back Matt. Tyrus is like, I'll do anything, but you know how I am. You know how I am throughout that entire time. So Tyrus, of course, keeping to his normal self is like, I go where the money is. I go where where it's best for me. Style throughout the night. So a match was made with Rockstar Spud and Tyrus for later in the night with Jeff Hardy. And if Rockstar, and he would put the contract for the Slammiversary match up there, they would put that contract up there, and if Rockstar Spud and Tyrus were to win the match wouldn't happen. But if Jeff Hardy were to win, he would sign the contract, and Full Metal Mayhem would happen. So we'll get into that a little bit. Like the overall segments of those, I absolutely thought they were great. This was good storytelling of where Matt Hardy is mentally right now. Really wants to get Jeff, and what effects it's having on Rebby and Rockstar and Tyrus at this time as well. He also threw one more stip in there. Is like, also if Jeff won, that Rockstar and Tyrus would no longer be associated with him in any way, shape, or form. So this eventually did lead into EC3 coming out, and they were going to have their match, because this was also supposed to be a match for EC3 in the terms of the Road to Redemption. Overall, the match between Matt Hardy and EC3 was not a bad one. These guys have been putting on good matches before, but the aspect was Michael Bennett was out there. He causes the disqualification, and basically going through everything, he's like his EC3's Road to Redemption. He has to follow Michael Bennett's rules at all times in that case, and he said you had to win by pinfall or submission. He wins by disqualification, even though Michael Bennett was the one who caused the disqualification, being playing the whole aspect that, okay, now you're not going to get your match, and like throwing the intentions out there. It's like he never had intentions of having another match with him to begin with. Overall, good segment, decent storytelling. You got more storytelling throughout the entire night. Another promo from Michael Bennett is like how this match isn't going to happen and everything on that aspect. And then you also had another promo from EC3 is like, you know, in basic like cutting promos, like I've got him like trying to be babyface as much as possible. It's like, you know, I don't want to make this phone call, but with the way everything went down, he has to make apparently a phone call to somebody, probably Billy Corbin, or not Corbin, but you know, like the TNA officials and everything there, and he was going to make that phone call and try to set things right. So they're going to probably do something for the next week, next week with that one. Overall, again, those were some decent segments. I thought it was pretty well. I thought those were pretty well done throughout the entire night. Next, you had Maria come out. She was out there with Ali, the apprentice, which she started talking about what happened with Velvet Sky the week before, and eventually gets interrupted by Gail Kim. Gail Kim and Maria have this back and forth. You have this aspect of now, like even Maria saying, it's like you have this aspect of, oh, Maria can't touch Gail and Gail can't touch Maria, and then it's like unless if it's in a match or anything in that sense, because you know, because Maria is the head of the knockouts and everything, and then. So they're still teasing like a match and a physical altercation between the two of them at some point in time. This eventually did lead into a match with Maria and Sienna. I almost said Serena, but it's Sienna. Overall, that match, not a bad match. It was okay. Most of this was more storytelling because you had the aspect of they went ahead with... the same ruling with like Velvet Sky. If Gail were to lose to Sienna, she would lose her job. And you even had a quick promo beforehand with Velvet Sky in there as well, to about like her career and everything, like kind of saying the final goodbye, her final goodbye and everything, which almost makes you think that okay, maybe she appears one more time before heading out or something in that case. Because I think in the terms of Velvet Sky, she was actually done with the company. Contractually wise, I'm not 100% on that though. So I think that like in the terms of contractually, she is gone from the company. So they played this up in every sense there, almost making it feel like it's like, oh, Velvet will appear one more time whenever with like Slammiversary or something like that. But like I said, the main storytelling here was kind of everything behind. You know, Gail Kim potentially losing her job. She loses the match. You know, you had Ali and Maria out there who were getting involved and interfering in every way, and kind of teasing the aspect that Gail was going to potentially lose. Of course, Gail gets a quick roll-up, ends out getting the victory in there, of course saving her job in that case, then gets attacked by all three of them after the fact. So they're definitely teasing for a one-on-one match with her and Maria at the Slammiversary pay-per-view. That's where I feel they're going, especially with the aspect that Maria was pretty much the one trying to dish out the punishment for that entire beatdown time. I think that would be mostly the case there. Up next, you had a promo and then eventually a match with Muhammad Ali Shira and Grado, talking about the street fight that Grado was about to have with Al Snow. Little comedy spot in there is like he's brought an equalizer, pulls out a chicken leg or a turkey leg in there, so it was like his lunch, and then pulls out a steel chain to go along with everything. Overall, like Grado's always been a comedy gimmick and everything. I've never been a big fan of his, but that was. It was an okay segment. Kind of got the aspect of comedy and the seriousness of everything because of how they've been dealing with Al Snow. Al Snow's trying to be like the gatekeeper of professional wrestling, trying to get rid of guys like Shira and Grado from there. The match between Grado and Al Snow was it was an okay street fight. A lot of more comedy spots than anything. That was what I grasped from it. You almost kind of wanted it to feel like it was going to be a little bit more of a serious type of match, but Grado kind of just continually did the comedy spot throughout the entire time inside of that match. Eventually, two guys interfere. I don't even think they even announced who they were. And they go ahead and interfere in the match, causing Grado to lose. To be honest with you, I thought they were going to try to end this feud here, but it looks like they're going to keep it going. So we'll see how everything goes with it. That's probably one of the few feuds I'm not a big fan of, or really a fan of in any way, shape, or form, going further on. They also had an X Division title match, Ultimate X. Man. My feeling, this is how I describe the match. This match had good spots in it. I thought it was fun. It was a fun watch. Interesting finish. I thought the finish was actually kind of good too, to the match. But I feel like something like Ultimate X for the X Division guys needs to be like this feud ending style match. Like, you could have built something around the X Division title where it's like, okay, like all three of these guys. Well, I know Everett is with Trevor Lee and Shane Helms. You could have they played off the team aspect in there, which I thought was a good idea inside of there. So there was some storytelling inside the match that I thought was good towards everything. But otherwise, it felt like it was just there. And Ultimate X doesn't need to just feel like it's just there. It needs to have that feeling of, this is going to end this feud between these four people. Like, you could have built some kind of tension between the X Division titles. Like, all these guys have a true gripe to saying that they are the number one contenders or anything in that sense. Like, this match needs to feel like it's bigger than what it is. And that was the one thing that they missed. I really would have liked to seen that match mean more. Like, okay, have a fatal four-way here for the X Division title, in every sense, and have Trevor Lee try to steal it, or steal the victory in that way. Then, like I said, the ending of the match was fun. Was actually kind of good, because you had Shane Helms distracting the referee the one referee that was out there, while Eddie Edwards pulls down the belt and Trevor Lee snatches it from him while he's still up there, and making it look, like he had the belt the entire time. I thought that was a great ending. But again, the Ultimate X match just felt like it was there. They should have taken a few more weeks to build the tension and done this for the pay-per-view, and it would have been a lot better. I think it would have been a lot better. That's just me, though. But overall, still a fun match. And this brings me to... No, this does not bring to the actual main event of the night, because we need to start talking about Drew Galloway and Bobby Lashley. They went ahead with both guys coming out and cutting promos about what happened the week before. How Bobby Lashley says he's the only real fighter and would have won that match if it wasn't for the other 20 guys causing it to be a no contest. Of course, Drew Galloway going out there, and it looked like those two were about to brawl again. Dixie Carter comes out and says, hey, we're going to have a match, and we're going to have a decisive winner, because at Slammiversary, the two of them were going to face in just a one-on-one match, and the only way that it was going to end, by tap out or knockout for the heavyweight title. This makes it feel like Bobby Lashley wins, because this plays off of the MMA thing completely. So it makes it feel like they're putting Drew Galloway inside of a not a no-win situation, but a situation where he would be considered the underdog in this case. The two of them brawl afterwards. Decent brawl between the two of them. I like the aspect that both guys went after the officials in this case, because the two of them have been, at each other's throats for the past number of weeks. It came off really well in there, and then they made it and they finished it off with Drew getting choked out by Bobby Lashley. So overall, that segment I thought was really good. This leads into the main event of the night. There's really not much to say about the main event because I had talked about the Matt and Jeff storyline so much beforehand. The match between Rockstar Spud, Tyrus, and Jeff Hardy was an okay but really, really fast ladder match in the terms of, not in the terms of pacing, but just in the terms of beginning to end. Like this, I think, lasted all of 4 to 5 minutes. And most ladder matches usually last a little bit longer than that. Overall, like I said, it wasn't horrible, or it wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad. It was an all right match, but it got the storyline across that Matt and Jeff are going to have this Full Metal Mayhem match at Slammiversary, and now that what's going to happen with Tyrus and Rockstar Spud now that they are not going to be aligned with Matt Hardy in any way, shape, or form. So obviously not too much really to talk about there because I had talked about it beforehand. Talked mostly about the story beforehand. Overall, decent show. This was a good show. Storylines were told really, really well. In my thoughts, and building and continuing on with certain storylines. Pretty good way of going through to Slammiversary, and we'll see where they continue on with everything. Obviously, they still got a couple more shows ahead before Slammiversary actually happens. We'll see how everything goes, see how the storylines continue to build, and how they'll be looking going into Slammiversary. This is my review for TNA Impact Wrestling, and I thank you guys for watching.